Democrats, it is Wednesday, February 22nd, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Live. Happy Wednesday. So my big thought for today is that words matter. Words matter. Now, I don't know if they matter as much as your actions, but words matter. And so when I think about our legislature, and folks who hold state office in our state, this is even that more important. Words matter. For the last 6 or 7 years, hate speech, not just in Oklahoma, but nationwide, hate speech has been on the rise, right? You know it. People act like racism is brand new and just back. No, it's back where people feel more comfortable talking about it all the time. Hate speech is on the rise. And at the same time, the call for acceptance of others is on the decline, right? Particularly in Oklahoma, where leaders in our state are leading campaigns, basically, against citizens of our state, anti-trans, anti-gay, limited history taught in our schools, the incidents of AAPI violence, anti-Semitism, all of that has gone up in the last 6 or 7 years, and it takes a toll. There are days when I'm doing this work that I am exhausted by the hate that I feel like I have to get up every day and face. Not necessarily directed at me, but directed at other folks. It's just exhausting. And earlier I said words matter, but I'm not sure if they matter as much as actions, and here's why. Violence against members of the AAPI, Asian Pacific, Pacific Islander community all over the nation has gone up, right? We've heard about all the mass shootings. There have been a lot of mass shootings against Black and brown people and Asian people, and it's because it's just become normalized. Anti-Semitism, which is a thing that I thought was dead, like a thing that folks didn't do, is up 34% just in Oklahoma. Who has time to pick out all these little groups of people to hate? Who has time to hate folks? Well, apparently, a lot of folks in our state leadership does. The superintendent of public instruction has spent more time on stoking hate and division than he has on improving education in our state. I will tell you, I can't think of a thing that he's done positive for education in our state since he's started running and actually won the office. But I can think of some very specific hateful things that he's done in our state in an effort to keep us divided, in an effort to pit, us against them, and rural against urban, and haves against have-nots. He keeps stoking this language all the way down to, wondering if Santa was woke. That's the kind of stuff that doesn't help Oklahomans. It doesn't. And I just need him to focus on, I get that he's a whole person, but in his capacity as superintendent of public instruction, I'd love it if I could see him concentrating on public instruction. He put out this big performative, I want to see how much money is being spent on DEI. And then when the information came back that sadly as a state, we're not spending that money on DEI, he didn't acknowledge that we weren't spending money on DEI. He just moved on to the next hateful thing by calling everyone who's influenced education before him a mob boss. Words matter, folks, and it seeks in and it makes a difference. And it's not just words, and it's not just the violence action, but now it's being facilitated and cemented with legislation. Right? Everybody knows about HB 1775 that insists on limited history, right? Call it whatever you want to call it, but what it is limited history. There have been countless bathroom bills, again, aimed at trying to decide where children are going to the restroom. There's a stupid gender passport. If you want your kid to participate in a sport, you got to fill out all of this information about their gender. Penalizing facilities that participate in gender affirming care. So you could be there for high blood pressure, and they're over here helping Terry come to terms with who they are so you don't get your high blood pressure medicine. That's the thing that's happening in our legislature right now. And let's not forget all of the legislation against our tribes. I don't want to live in a state of hate. I don't want to live in a place where all of these negative words are circulating around. But how we change that is that we pay attention to elections. We pay attention to who we're electing. It needs to be more about what letter is in front of their name. It needs to be about what words they're saying. It needs to be what actions they're taking and what actions they've condoned. It's not too late. There aren't a whole lot of elections this year, but there are some. This is a year for you to get involved. This is a year for you to get involved and figure out how you're going to participate in the election years going forward, because that's what needs to happen. We can't sit quietly by, because there are a lot of loud mouths. And as long as they're being loud and unchecked, there become more loud mouths. So my question for you is, what are you going to do to make it better? The price good men pay for indifference to public affairs is that they are ruled by evil men. It's that simple. Sitting back and saying, I don't talk politics, politics is ugly, I don't get involved, means that you get to be ruled by the folks who are involved. And a lot of the folks who are involved in the negative rhetoric. They're involved in passing hateful legislation. They're involved in passing legislation that silences the voices and history of the folks that they decide that their voices and history aren't worth being talked about. Get involved. Get involved now. Precinct elections are March 16th all over the state. Please go out to our website, okdemocrats.org. Click on our party, click on your county, find out where your precinct elections are going to be held. Get involved now. If you can't figure it out, you can't find it, I don't want to make it hard for you. Please call our office at 405-427-3366. Someone will help you find out where your county party is meeting. Get involved, because the penalty, whether you're involved or not, horrible people are going to run. If there aren't enough people to stand against them, they're going to win. Help me stand against the evil words and the evil legislation by getting involved now. All righty. Thanks for joining me, and I'll be back here tomorrow at 4:15.